Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an aspect of the race we might look back on later as having been the path to finding the winner. Racing at Sha Tin on Sunday, and the first race we're going to take a look at is race 8, where our winning factor is the draw. Now I think this class 4 is going to boil down to small chances down in the weights for horses like President's Choice and the likely leader August Moon, but bigger chances towards the top of the weights with Marvel Dragon, Leslie and Pins Prince. And it's those three horses that I really want to focus on here, and we do have some good recent comparisons. First of all, we're going to go back to November, and Pins Prince here in yellow and blue colours from gate 3. This was his debut, this same course and distance. And we also see in this Marvel Dragon from gate 13, light green colours. And from the start, Vincent Ho on Marvel Dragon elects to go back to the rear rather than use his horse from the poor draw, while Joao Moreira makes use of his good draw on Pins Prince to push through behind the leaders. And while we do see Pins Prince, it is his first start. He gets a little bit keen after being bustled early, but he has the rail and he has a really good head start on Marvel Dragon, some 6 lengths as they turn for home. So we see in the straight, Pins Prince does a great job, does everything right in the straight to go on and win, but look at how Marvel Dragon gets home to cut the deficit on the line to just 3 lengths. Then on January the 1st, it was Leslie who was making his racecourse debut, and he was also an eye-catcher, finishing second to Flying Ace. And we're going to take a look at that race now. And this is race 299. And we see the head on here early, and from gate 4 in pink colours, Leslie gets sandwiched in the early stages. So that's the reason he gets as far back as he does. He's unable to settle any closer than the back half of the field as a result of that interference. And it's just an average tempo that didn't really help horses closing off. Harry Bentley gets him back there, goes to the inside in the straight and gets runs through up the inside, and then Leslie finds the post very strongly for what was also an excellent first attempt at racing. Then 30 minutes later on the same program, we got to see Marvel Dragon again, and this gave us a good comparison with Leslie. So of course this is race 300, also on New Year's Day, and Marvel Dragon, gate 11. And I want you to note here, he wins the start in those light green colours, but once again, rider Derek Lung elects to go back in the field rather than use the horse's energy early, and he has to settle past midfield. Now, if you look at the heat map here, this really was not a race where you wanted to give away a big start. Pace was just over 5 lengths slower than average early, leaving the leaders with plenty of energy, and Eason was able to reel off a very strong final 400 metres up the front to win, while again we saw Marvel Dragon taking a lot of ground off the front runners out in the middle of the track. So having seen these horses race each other a couple of times, we can also have a look at their comparative sectionals to give us some idea of how they measure up in Sunday's race. So that's what we're showing you now. And first of all, a comparison of the times posted in consecutive races on the same day by Leslie and Marvel Dragon. And then earlier, the race earlier that we saw with the Pins Prince and Marvel Dragon. And I've highlighted here the faster of the pair in each of those sections. So we've seen Marvel Dragon each time with big weights closing off better than his rival in each race. Now I might hear you say to that, well yes, but we see horses all the time closing off strongly when the race is all won and in someone else's keeping, and that's true. We do get horses like that that are always running on, but I think there's been good reasons for it with Marvel Dragon due to his wide draws. And when we take a look at the map for Sunday's race, I think you'll see what is different there. Marvel Dragon has had a draw of 9 or wider in his last 5 starts, in fact all 5 starts this season, forcing his riders to give away those big head starts to his rivals. This time, yes, Pins Prince has a draw inside to be close to the speed again, but I think we saw there Marvel Dragon win the start last time. He's not a slow beginner, And from gate 3, I think he's probably not going to be giving away the 6 lengths to Pins Prince this time that we saw last time. And Zach Purton on Leslie from gate 9, well, he this time is going to be the one forced to make a choice between giving a head start or using the horse's energy early to sit closer. Either way, it's a disadvantage. So the tip in race 8, Marvel Dragon. His winning factor, the draw. Now, he doesn't have a great strike rate, 1 win from 17 starts, but he has raced well enough all 5 starts this season to think that Marvel Dragon is ready to win a race, and he finally gets a setup that's going to suit him. The other race I want to take a look at is race 10, and our winning factor here, the map. And while this class 3 will see some fans giving chances to horses like Seasons Bliss and Star Bright, I think we can narrow it down to the top weight, Circuit Stella, and Richard Gibson's Classic Mile prospect, Navis 2. And Navis 2, well, he was a big surprise to punters on International Day when he dropped from the clouds in the final stages to win at 56 to 1. But I think this time he was much more anticipated at his 3rd race start in Hong Kong. We're going to take a look at that now. This is race 308, and in yellow and red colours we saw a better version all round of this horse this time. Now, he'd been out the back early in his first 2 runs, but this time you see Ruin Meyer has him begin well, and he was much better positioned, in touch with the leaders throughout a slow first half, and it was an easy watch for his backers this time, with Meyer cruising up to join the leaders in the straight and really only putting him under full pressure in the final 120 metres. There was no fancy margin, but he did the job handily enough. So that was the win which launched Navis 2 at next week's Classic Mile, and I'm a little surprised that we're not also going to see Circuit Stella in the Classic Mile. He won twice at stakes level in Ireland over 1600 metres. However, he's not in the entries, but he's certainly going to be one to beat on Sunday, and we're going to take a look at just why that is with his most recent performance. And this is race 306, and he's in mostly yellow colours. He jumps okay over the 1200 metres, but there are a number of horses under him at the draw who have better speed, and the best that Joao Moreira can do is settle past midfield, where he's outside Star Bright in the red and blue colours, one of his rivals on Sunday. Now, this is a race that we looked at last week, and the first section of it, as you'll recall, very slowly run, more than 6 lengths slower than average. With Lucky With You able to lead the race with heaps of petrol in the straight. He ran a sizzling section down the final 400 metres, and it's particularly difficult to make ground here, but watch how Circuit Stella closes off strongly into 3rd placing under the top weight. A really top-notch effort there from Circuit Stella under top weight, especially if you consider he was giving away 10 pounds in weight to Lucky With You, a very talented horse. And this time, I think we're going to see a better setup for the race when Circuit Stella goes around on Sunday. When we take a look at the map this time, he moves up to 1400, which is key because it looks a slowly run race again. But from gate 1, I think Circuit Stella will be quick enough to sit closer without doing a lot of work, maybe even to hold the back of one of the potential leaders in the race, Circuit Mighty. And just by virtue of the distance and draw, he's going to be closer without doing any work. Then we'll look for him to finish the race off strongly again. For Navis 2, well, that bit of early tactical pace he showed last time really puts him in the fight here again, although he isn't as well drawn this time as he was there. If he gets back like his first 2 runs in Hong Kong, his job gets tougher. So the tip in race 10 is Circuit Stella. His winning factor, the map. He's raced well at all 3 runs in Hong Kong, this horse, and hasn't had quite the setup to go through and win a race, but on Sunday he gets all the favours. Well, that's it from the winning factor for this week. Enjoy your racing on Sunday. We'll see you next time.